Hello and welcome back to Of Land and Leaf. Family, I am so nervous. I'm pulling up to the garden after spending over a week away from the garden. I haven't watered it and we haven't had rain in over a week. So, no idea what I'm about to see. I packed my car with things, with projects to keep me busy so that my feelings won't be too hurt. If the worst has happened, if everything is dead, if everything is dried up, I have projects, I have seeds, I have work that I'm going to get done, but I'm bringing you with me so I can have a little moral support, a little support as I go visit my community garden plot. So let's see. Okay, let's start over here. I am excited to see bush beans have sprouted, and so have my cucumbers. Sweet potato slips are coming along even without water. And I believe I see a couple beets. Right, there's a beet. There's one. So I brought my book to check on germination time, but hoping to get some beets in there. Let's take a look over here. I transplanted spinach right before I left. This spinach looks really dry. I put it in these domes hoping that would help protect it. But I think it got kind of hot in there. But it's still alive, so happy about that. You know what I don't see? My tomatoes. I had tomatoes on this side and tomatoes over here, and the tomato is completely gone. There is no tomato here. Wow. No tomato. I think I see a couple of little lettuces coming up. I planted some lettuce right there. My bok choy looks fine, but the one that was in the dome looks a little small. So I'm gonna take these domes off today and hopefully water this really good, and hopefully some of this spinach will bounce back. Other than my missing tomato, I have no idea. Like, if this is dry, it hasn't been watered in a week, but I don't even see a remnant of where the tomato was. Do you think something maybe pulled the whole tomato up? I don't know. This looks good. I'm gonna water that, but decided that the beans are coming in. Look what's bouncing back. Remember, she looked dead and she's bouncing back. So that makes me really happy. I think I'm gonna put beans on this. I'm not sure yet. But okay, so far I'm not heartbroken because I do have some more of those tomato seeds. Let's go over here. Spinach is doing great. Lettuce is looking good in the domes. Let me show you. Look, pretty, beautiful lettuce. May take that off and let it continue to grow. I need to use my plant identifier app to see if that is spinach that I planted or a weed. We'll check that. Everything over here looks like I left it. I need to harvest some kale. This blackberry has done nothing. She still looks really sad. But the other blackberry actually has little flowers on it where I'm making some blackberries. Look at that. It's blackberry. Right, so I'm gonna get something to cover those up. I didn't bring anything with me, but I'm excited. This, not so much. She doesn't look good, and I fertilized her before I left. We'll check and see if that's a weed or if that is green coming off of there. See, I'm seeing a little bit of green. So as long as I see green, I know it's not completely dead. I don't know if you can see it, but here is some green. So yeah, okay, let's check out the towers. This is a big mess, but that's okay. A lot of this is coming out today. I have been trying to wait and wait so I can get some seeds, but now that I know how many seeds, let me get my finger out the way. Now that I know how many seeds come out of each of these pods, I'm not too concerned with keeping every one of the plants. So I'm gonna pull a bunch of those up today. Let's go check out the towers. Everything looks good. Radish should be about ready to come up, and it still looks really, really small. So I'm not sure what that means. This is supposed to be spinach. And again, it's looking really, really small, but it's also really dry in here. Oregano looks good. So yeah, overall, I'm not too upset with my week away. Got a little bit of work to do. So let's get to work. Look at this, I'm in the greenhouse and I left this seed tray in here while I was gone. And look how hot it must have gotten because all of this is like melted. This is like, right? So, with that being said, I understand why my seeds didn't germinate. It's just way too hot in here. So I'm just gonna direct seed some things. Even my tomatoes that I left in here that had already sprouted and I was just waiting for them to get their true leaves. A week away, I think it was too soon for them. It's dry. I'm gonna still go ahead and try to plant them again. Like just take these and plant them and see what happens. But I may have lost that by not being here to take care of them and to correct for temperature. I mean, this is crazy. But I'm gonna see what I can do. Yeah, spinach is still trying to grow, so it's not a total loss. I just think this got burned. All right, it was just too hot to be under the domes. So my first strawberries. I'm so excited. I did a little initial water, and I'm gonna work on some of my projects. So let's see what I brought. I have potatoes that I'm going to get planted. My compost is going in, and people asked about compost last time. Someone asked me if I water my compost every now and then, not frequently. I'm not out here every day, but I try to bring a bag of compost once per week, and it has vegetable scraps in it, banana peels, cardboard. I keep it in the freezer, so there is water content. It's frozen, it will unfreeze. So yeah, I add water from time to time, but not every day or every time something gets thrown in here. I'm trying to regrow a celery and see how that works. I started it at home, so I'm going to get that planted today. I wasn't sure how my sweet potatoes were going to look. They look fine. I brought in some extra backup ones just in case I needed to start over, but I don't. And I have seeds and my garden book so that I can check the progress of everything. So first thing I'm going to do, I think, is spend a little time with those tomatoes that were in the greenhouse, see if I can revive those. And then over here, I'm going to pull up some of this forest that's growing so that I can start to plant on this side. So I'm noticing that this landscape fabric that I purchased is not blocking the weeds. Like, the weeds are not visible. I don't see them, but they are under this fabric. So it's not the same as the heavy duty landscape weed fabric that I have been using, weed barrier. So I'm probably gonna have to go on top of this and add something else because I still have weeds and they still look pretty green and strong underneath this fabric. While I was in Alabama, my sister-in-law gave me a couple of these little, what are they called? Tags? I don't know what they're called, but aren't they cute? I gotta find some more, but she gave me that one for oregano. She gave me one for thyme, and I have both of those planted. So I'm gonna go ahead and put those in and then start to get my hands dirty. Okay, so this bed I'm going to finally plant in. I'm going to add this burpee summer squash, 2 of these. And a friend gave me this patty pan squash, which I've never attempted to grow. I'm gonna put both of them in here. I'm going to put the patty pan in the front because I understand that it grows more like a bush. And I'm gonna put the summer squash in the back. Again, I'm only planting 2. I might start with 3. And because I understand that I'm going to need to trellis that at some point, and they need full sun. So we're gonna put patty pan right here, summer squash in the back, and then we're going to put some other stuff in the middle. I'm working and forgot to record, but I did plant Swiss chard right here in the middle. So I planted this Dollar Tree Swiss chard right here in the middle. So we'll have squash in the front, in the back, Swiss chard, and I'm actually gonna put one more thing in the middle for now. Right here, I'm gonna put some celery that I started to regrow. at home. I'm just gonna go ahead and add it here and let it do its thing right here. So overall, I'm not too upset about, you know, my week away. Definitely some losses. I'm hoping that the tomatoes I can get back. The spinach I think will bounce back. You see I'm planting out now aggressively, getting some things planted because I kind of feel like I lost time and I want to get caught up. So I've got a couple more things that I want to plant, including potatoes. The peppers that I tried to start from seed that just did not make it, I'm actually going to put those directly in ground. In order for me to do that, I've got to start working on this forest on the left side of the garden. So I'm going to be doing some pulling today. I'm going to try to leave a plant in and try to dry some of the pods after pulling. I've never done it before. I've never dried pods before. I've never tried to grow collards from seed before. So all of this is just me experimenting and learning, but I'm going to pull. I'm going to get my area prepped, and then I'm going to go ahead and plant the seeds in ground. It's hard to believe that these monsters were once collard green plants. There's a mustard. The first one I pulled was a mustard that we didn't really like anyway, so I wasn't concerned about saving those seeds. But if you look at this trunk, look how big this trunk is. I harvested this several times. Don't look at my nails. Ooh, they look bad. But I harvested this several times. We really enjoyed this one, so I'm gonna try to get the seeds off of that one, which is why I laid it separately. There are tons of pods, so hopefully I can snip a couple of those, dry them, and then save the seeds. That's the goal. The rest of these I am going to put some of the leaves in my compost, and the rest of it I'm going to just go ahead and throw away. And then we still have all of this to work from. And look what I found. She's over here hiding. But this is a collard doing really well because she's out of the sun. And I'm gonna just put her in a pot and let her keep living. I'm gonna just see how long she'll last. But look at my kale, look how big it is. I'm harvesting a bunch of kale today. Okay, I'm out here by myself. I really wish I could have shown you the work that it took to get these up. It's crazy that these are the collard greens that you eat. This is what happens to them. This is the circle of life. Look at these roots. Look at these trunks. I'm gonna throw all of this away, but I kept my favorite one over there to try to get some seeds from her. And I kept one in ground that I'm gonna cut back so that I can do a little experiment with her. Let's go ahead and throw this away. Okay, so I was headed to the garbage with the collards, and one of the gardeners stopped me and asked me if I knew that the collard green flowers and pods are edible. Never knew that the pods were edible. You can eat them raw. He just picked some off and ate them raw. So now I'm going to harvest some flowers and throw them in a salad before I throw out the rest of what I thought were spent collards.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Aren't they pretty? These are collard and mustard green flowers. These are the flowers that eventually turn to pods, that eventually turn to seed. And one of the things that he shared with me is that by consuming these, and we were just sitting here eating them, I don't tend to eat straight out of the garden. I know a lot of people do that, but I just can't get over the fact that I use cow manure. So I'm gonna rinse these a bit and continue to eat them. But he was sharing with me that it really helps because there's pollen in the flower. Eating them helps you if you have allergies. So you should eat your native plants, especially if you know that you have spring and summer allergies, which I do. So it's beautiful. So still a mess here. I'm going to cut this down a little bit, but not completely out. But this is the space that I wanted to start planting some peppers. So I'm going to rake a little bit and put some compost down and then harvest some of this kale. And there are seed pods everywhere after I remove these plants, and I can't help but wonder what would happen if I let them remain here and dry up. Would they just continue to grow that way? Maybe we make gardening harder than it has to be, but I have limited space and I need to reuse this space. So I'm gonna pick these up, but something tells me that I would get a bunch more collards free if I were to leave these here to let nature do its work. You may not recall this little area. It looks different now, but I had already gone through here and cleaned this area out and put some black cow down. So all I did just now was just kind of level it out, loosen it up, and peppers are gonna go in this little section right there. I don't do a whole lot of tilling and cleaning and all of that because how would they grow if I wasn't here? So I'm just gonna go ahead and plant some seeds right here. So these are what I'm planting, my Dollar Tree sweet peppers, my Zulu peppers from Baker Creek. I tried to start them in the seed tray and I don't think I gave them an opportunity to really do well. So I'm gonna try them direct seed. And then my Buena Malata peppers. Those three are going back here. Eventually, I actually do want some jalapeno. I just, for some reason, don't have any. So I'll get these three started. It's 7:30. It's getting late. I got here around 5:30, so it's been 2 hours. What I want to show you is that I'm going to go ahead and harvest some spinach to add to my eggs for breakfast. This is my most favorite thing in the garden, when I can actually use the food that I'm growing. I'm also going to harvest some kale, which I want to have for dinner tomorrow. This kale is still beautiful, but I'm starting to see seeds, and so I want to go ahead and get it before it completely goes to seed. I usually harvest next to my garlic. Wherever I see that the kale is like leaning on the garlic, then I'll go ahead and harvest that, so that there's no pressure on the garlic, because this garlic still has to be here for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest some kale. Look at all of the kale. I got a ton of kale. And the way that I eat kale is the younger leaves, like the little small ones, I will put in salads because they're still pretty sweet. Alone, I can eat them raw. And then the more mature leaves, I will cook down like I was cooking any greens. And doesn't that look so much better? My garlic is free. It's not being impeded on by any kale. So that section's all cleaned up now. I want to get out of here by 8. I'm the last one here already, so I'm going to delay planting my tomatoes, but I am going to go ahead and plant peppers. So here are the potatoes. Here are the potatoes that I bought, that I brought from home. I noticed them going bad a little while ago, so I just let them continue to go bad. And then before I left to go to Alabama for the week, I went ahead and cut them up. I wish that I had one more so I could put 3 in each of the 10-gallon grow bags, but I don't. So I'm going to put 3 in 2. I was trying not to waste a bunch of potting soil, but I did. But I wasted it on the fabric, so it's really easy to get up. I just wanted to share with you that I use potting soil, and I do use the Miracle-Gro Perlite. I know a lot of people don't like Miracle-Gro, and I don't use Miracle-Gro potting soil, but I like the Perlite, and I put it in pretty much everything container raised. This is my first time with the big raised beds, and I didn't add it there, and I kind of feel like I should, because I just feel like it helps. But I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit in the grow bag, add my potatoes, and then cover it up. And then I do the method of letting them sprout and continuing to cover until I get to the top of the bag. Okay, so here is the potting soil and the perlite, and I'm going to add a little bit of bone meal and then get my potatoes planted. And the reason why I always say this is not an educational channel is because I'm learning as I go, and I'm also doing things the way I want to do them and not always the right way. So I'm just seasoning seasoning the soil with bone meal. I don't measure, just put a little in there. Okay, let's get our potatoes. And I'm gonna take this one, and this one. We'll put 3 in here. And we'll plant them sprout side up. Just like that. Then we'll cover with some more soil. So here's my first little spring harvest. I have a bunch of kale. I have collard flowers that I'll be adding to a salad. And I have spinach for my eggs in the morning. I love the garden. Happy gardening.